Stephanie Moore, and I am at the table. That's right. We are on MOOREtv, and we're having table talk. And today, my special guest is Kalamazoo County Treasurer, the Honorable Mary Balkema. And before I allow you, Mary, to introduce yourself to the community and talk a little bit about your experience, I want to preface this conversation about our relationship. We have had the opportunity to work together for quite a long time on a number of different projects, whether if it was raising money for kids to play sports, for those kids to travel out of the state and compete on a state and national level. We have done a lot of work raising our voices around women and domestic violence. And most recently, we partnered together to address the issue of foreclosure, where through our efforts, we did not foreclose on one single owner-occupied home in District 1 in the city of Kalamazoo. And that work is because of our relationship. And some people, they say, oh, well, you know, they're totally different perspectives, yada, yada, right? But you and I know as women leaders in this community, if you really want to get something done, number one, you build relationships. And number two, you partner and you execute. So I want to applaud you and commend you, my friend, for being willing to extend the arm, open the door, and be ready to work with everybody in order to execute. And you and I both know that who benefits is the community at large. So I wanted to be really clear that I've enjoyed the friendship, the relationship, and the outcomes that we've done together over the last couple of years. And that's why I am so excited to have you at the table with some table talk on MOOREtv. So take a minute or two and introduce yourself and talk about your experience.
Sure. So thank you so much for that. That was a very sweet introduction. Again, my name is Mary Balkema. I'm the county treasurer. I think I have the experience to be the county treasurer. I'm a graduate of Western Michigan University. I have an accounting background. I also have a number of years in banking. I've managed millions of dollars. I obviously do that for the county. I manage the taxpayer dollars. You know, our partnership, I think I've known you for 20 years, maybe since 2001 or two.
Yep.
And in some ways, we're very different. So we could name all of our differences, but in some ways, we're very alike. And I think our alikeness is the passion for the people and the can-do attitude. And you like to fit the community problems kind of like a puzzle. So how can we figure it out? And how can we link it together? And so it's really strong. And I really appreciated that about you. I've done doors with you. I've worked on foreclosure prevention with you. Your phone goes off constantly on a myriad of issues that people need help on. How do I navigate the jail system? How do I navigate the court system? How do I navigate the front of the court? You know what I mean? And those are questions that probably are outside of your expertise, but you're a really good connector. So you'll connect people with the community. And I think what makes you valuable is you have access. And so do I, right? So we have access in the community and we can connect people because we like to help them solve some of their issues. And you know, Stephanie, I don't think in life anyone signs up for extreme poverty or for mental illness or for the number of things that substance abuse that we see just plague people. And so, you know, my heart really goes out to some of these folks. I've seen them for a long, long time. And, you know, I came to the conclusion that, you know, the good Lord made them too and has a plan and a purpose. And it's our responsibility and our privilege to be in a helping role. And I really do believe that.
Absolutely. All right, sister, preach. So I see that you're in your office.
Yep.
Let's talk a little bit about the treasurer, the role of the treasurer, and some of the things that you offer.
Sure. So the role of the treasurer is I am the county's purse, right? So anytime money comes through this whole array of county government, it comes to the treasurer's office.
Okay.
So we collect money through the courts, through animal control, through the jail, through your millage, you know, that we collect, through the dog license, through health and community services. So any of our programs, the money comes to the treasurer. We obviously, there's some folks that don't have bank accounts. They're undocumented. Their bank account's been closed for a number of reasons. So what do they deal in? They deal in cash.
Okay.
So we are the county's bank, right? And it all comes to the county, and then I take it with an armed officer to the bank for security reasons. So some days we have enough money to be a bank. But that being said, you know what? We have a bank reconciliation that's this thick. We account for every single dollar, and then we manage that. We invest it in the markets. Obviously, we start our year in January. We don't have our first levy till July. So you know that I'm on money in our savings account, right? I'm paying all bills. Our payroll's $1 million a week. So I have on my phone what our bank account, all the entries that go through it. I have it on my computer. I monitor it constantly. We monitor fraud. We monitor all of it.
Let me just clarify. When you say $1 million a week of the payroll, that's not just your office. That's countywide employees.
That's the entire county. The jails, the courts, everyone. So I know exactly what the payroll is. And then I kind of ladder out my investments to meet the needs of the county. And so I know what you guys are approving every other week. Like on May 5, it's 2.3 million. So I have a constant running total in my head of what you're doing. And I go to your meetings to know, what are you taking in? What are you expending? What are you thinking about expending? Are you going to expend $100 million on a courthouse? What's the time frame? What's the bond? And so I constantly have those numbers running in my head because I'm your bank, you know, that's what I serve as the county. So also in that capacity, I collect taxes. And then if you don't pay your taxes, I collect delinquent taxes. So every single year, there's thousands of parcels that get turned over to me delinquent. We just settled in March, and we have $11.8 million that was turned over to me. And so it's turned over to me. The first year, it's delinquent. The second year, I file a lien, and the third year, I foreclose. So I sent you a list of the pending foreclosures in the city of Kalamazoo. There is 162 parcels going to foreclosure. I took that list, and every single person that is owner occupied will either pay by May 30, or I have helped them with a generous grant from the Foundation for Excellence and from the Local Initiative Support Corporation.
Wait. We got to make sure that the people in the back get this and they heard this. So of the people on the list who are potentially could have been foreclosed on, you have interceded and said, here's some support, some resources, some dollars to prevent your home from being foreclosed on, which means owner-occupied residents will stay in their home.
That is exactly right. And we think that this would be a horrible time through a crisis or a pandemic than to be homeless. And you know, there's already a burden on our shelters, as you well know. We're trying to house people in hotels for the mission. There's a myriad of issues going on right now in this community. And so the first year, me and you went and did Doors on the North Side, and it was very successful. And we didn't really know the success when we went out, but the outcome was great. And so a lot of leaders took notice of that, and they asked me if I could do it for the entire city. And I wasn't sure if I could or not, but last year was 0 homeowner foreclosures in the city of Kalamazoo. And this year, we're on track to do that too. So there's one person I can't find, and I'm not sure if he's alive or what he is, and so I'm gonna go out looking for him in a responsible way, obviously. But I have found everyone else, and so I'm happy about that.
So just so that people know that if you own a home and you're in Kalamazoo County and you are delinquent on your taxes, and let's just focus on owner occupied right now, right? And if you think you need some help, you got questions or concerns, people should just literally call your office.
They should call me, or if it's too long to get in a phone call, treasurer@kelcounty.com. I answer every single email. Stephanie, a lot of people are not homesteaded. So you live in your house, but you're not homesteaded. So you're paying those 18 school operating mills more. And so your taxes are way too expensive. And then if you don't have your paperwork straight, I'm not looking to help you because you're not owner occupied when you really indeed should be. And so I have sent out that form, the homestead form. I have helped people with their local assessor, and they can go to the July board of review. And then the board will give us the orders, and I'll give those folks a refund. And then their paperwork will be straight. So it's really important that if you live there and you own it, like you do and I do, that you're homesteaded.
Okay. So then those applications, they can either pick them up from the city hall, or they can come get them from your office and you all will help people complete them.
We'll help them complete them. If you need the poverty exemption, I'll help you complete that. If you need the financial hardship that extends your time so you're off the foreclosure list, I will help you with that. Step Forward Michigan still has money. So if you're suffering, we're still getting payments for folks all over the county. They've paid over $5 million to our hardworking taxpayers in the county. And so I would really urge folks, and if you are living below the poverty level, you can apply to the city of Kalamazoo, to the March Board of Review, the July Board of Review, the December Board of Review, and it will reduce your taxable value so you won't get a tax bill. And literally, we've helped so many people. The only catch is you have to apply every year.
Yeah.
And so, if you look at the poverty guidelines, the city of Kalamazoo is 25% more generous. So I can email you that form or as well. So that is a really, really valuable tool.
So people that own their homes that are working or not, they might be getting disability, Social Security, they could be getting employment, but if they work at or below the poverty level, they can just fill out a form to be exempt from paying property taxes. And then that will keep them from being potentially foreclosed on. And your office can definitely help with that process.
Absolutely. And I have people call me that say they don't have access to a printer. It's kind of challenging to fill out a PDF form. And so I will just mail it to you. And then if you need help with your personal number or filling it out, I'm certainly always available to help with that.
And then there's even support as well for even if people are, for example, disabled veterans that are 100%, they could be exempt as well too, right?
They can be 100% exempt, and they also have to file paperwork every year. So we have a number of veterans in the entire county that are 100% exempt. And then if that veteran passes on, their unremarried spouse gets that exemption for a lifetime. So that is very important too. The person needs to be unremarried, but they get it for the remainder of their life.
Okay. So, let's talk about the auction, the tax auction. We hear people all the time saying, you know what, I want to buy a house, I want to flip a house, I want to do this. What's the auction and what's the process to get involved with it?
Sure, that's a great question. So every single year, the foreclosure deadline is usually March 31st. This year, it's May 30th. Per the governor's executive order, it's May 30th. So hopefully, last year we foreclosed on 77, hopefully in a month. Today my list is 287, but I would like it to be significantly lower than that.
Now, Mary, is that owner occupied or is that a little bit of mixed everything, rentals and all of that?
Everything plus vacant lots. Okay. So that's everything, 287. So we're trying to get that number down. But Stephanie, as you know, there's people in the county that declare bankruptcy. We track every single bankruptcy because when you're in bankruptcy, I cannot foreclose on you. So as you know, the row houses on Florence and Lawrence have been in bankruptcy since 2011. They've sat there in disrepair, no maintenance. This is the year I can foreclose on them. I need to foreclose on them. I need those to be in the hands of the public, the county treasurer. I need that title to be perfected. So there are some parcels that I absolutely need to foreclose on. Then there's other parcels that I absolutely don't want to foreclose on, and I'm still working that list. Okay. So May 30th is the deadline. June 1st, absolute title rests in the name of the Kalamazoo County Treasurer. And then I will go out and do an inventory of all the parcels, or I'll look at them, clean them out, mow, remove anything that's toxic. And then I'll make my list and I'll have a public auction. And since I stand in for the public, a lot of people say, well, I'll just buy it. I'll just buy it from you, Mary. Well, no, that's not fair, right? So we apply the General Property Tax Act fairly. And so the list of, let's say it's 100, it's available to you, to me, to everyone. You can go to a public auction and you have a bidder number and you can bid, I can bid, I don't bid, but anyone can bid, obviously. And then it's a fair process. And then it's that day you pay, cash, check, or credit card. And then a week or 2 or 3 weeks later, I send you a quick claim deed.
So if I was interested in the auction and I wanted to come, number one, I need to have my money ready that day to make sure that I can, execute the sale, right?
Yep.
Two, is there a way that I can look and see what's already in the auction? I can kind of browse around so I'll know.
Absolutely. We have it all online, and our website is tax-sale.info. Tax-sale.info. And you click on Kalamazoo County, we have every single parcel, the inside, the outside, what the value is, if there's water in the basement, if the roof, if it's fire burned out. So we show everything that we know about it, every single thing that we know about it. So I don't oversell anything, I don't undersell. You can see the SEV, you can see the taxable value, you can see the history of it, and you can see, everything you're buying.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
So we talked a little bit about the auction. You also do a lot of work and very familiar with the land bank. Can you talk to us about that entity and how does that work with the treasurer's office?
Sure. So here is a form on how you get parcels out of the land bank, who is eligible. It's on KalamazooLandBank.org. And so who's eligible for a side lot? Who's eligible for an adopt-a-lot? Who's eligible to purchase? So what are the requirements? Like if you had a lot right next door and you wanted to buy it, but you had delinquent taxes, you're not eligible.
Okay.
If you are current and you're the homeowner and the majority of it is adjacent to your lot, you absolutely are eligible and we would want you to have it.
Okay.
So how do you find the property? We have 400 lots on the land bank, and we absolutely want to get those into the hands of the rightful owner. So go to our website, KalamazooLandBank.org, and we made a sheet so it's very user friendly. I also emailed you this sheet, which is the property tax cycle and timeline, so people are not confused.
Okay.
So, the land bank manages blight, does small business support, transforms city blocks. We're working heavily in Edison. We're working heavily on the east side. And then also, let's say that I am foreclosed on and I'm dead and I have a kind of a convoluted title. The land bank also performs expedited quiet title. It's very valuable. So when you get title to something, it has a marketable title, you can get title insurance and you have a really good document in your hand.
Okay.
So I think that that is valuable as well. They're into affordable housing. They did the affordable housing project on the east side. They continue to manage 400 properties, pick up tires and couches and mow. So we're very excited that we can start mowing, that the governor kind of relaxed her requirement. And then we are in a fundraising for more work that we're going to do on a city block on the east side.
So Mary, I often deal with a lot of my constituents where they're living in their family homes. The senior person may have died a year or 2 or 10 years ago, and they don't have clean titles. Is there anything that you can do to help these folks clear up their paperwork so that they'll be able to qualify for loans or for Step Forward Michigan or whatever if they need to get assistance to maintain the home?
So I have a file right here, which is that very thing of clouded titles. And when people come forward, if you said to me, Mary, I'm living in my grandma's house and she's deceased and I paid the taxes, but I don't really have clear title. So I will do a title search and I'll see if there's a bank out there or if there's an IRS or the state of Michigan, whoever has a lien out there. And then if I did open up a probate action, do you have 10 siblings that would contest it? I mean, you're living there and you think it's your house and you're paying the bills. So sometimes I have to work through a few family issues, obviously, and then a few title issues, but we are helping folks and we are being successful too. And so the Foundation for Excellence is paying for that because we think that a clear title is a matter of equity. And some folks never made a will, never made a trust for no other reason than maybe they just didn't have the know-how. They probably would have if they would have had the know-how, but I have a whole list of people and I really do want those folks to come forward so they can have clear title to their house. So because Mary, clear title gets you a homestead, clear title gets you help with Step Forward, clear title gets you help with the roof program with KNHS. Clear title does a lot in clear ownership. Unclear title and unclear ownership does nothing.
For nothing for you. So Mary, people can just call your office, they can email you, they can schedule an appointment, talk to someone in your office, and you can help them with all these things. We've already talked about foreclosure prevention. We've talked about the land bank and purchasing, whether if it's lots or homes. We talked about the auction. Give us some ideas of some things at your office that the average citizen, even if they've been to your office to pay a bill before, they may not necessarily know that you do.
We collect dog licenses.
Oh, wow.
So most people don't know that. They're like, why does the treasurer collect dog licenses? That is in the statute. I thought it was a weird thing that the treasurer would do
Who
too.
would have thought?
Who would have thought? So we collect thousands of dog licenses. A fun fact, there's 65,000 dogs in the county.
Mm-hmm.
We collect about 30-some thousand dog licenses. And it's the law. If you have a dog, the license tells us that it has a rabies shot, right? And that's very, very important. And that who owns it? We want every dog to have a home and every dog to have an owner, right?
Right.
So people don't know that I collect dog licenses, which is a little bit strange. I also collect accommodations tax. If you stay in a hotel, you owe the 5% to the treasurer. So all the hotels we monitor, and they pay us when someone stays at the hotel. Maybe people didn't know that as well, right?
Right.
That might not be obvious.
So let's talk about your office, where you're located and how people can contact your office.
Sure. We are located at 201 West Kalamazoo Avenue, across from the McDonald's on Kalamazoo Ave. We are open Tuesday and Friday, but not to the public. So we're here. And if the public needs me, they need to drive up in front of the building and call our number, and I will run out and take their payment. Okay. So we are serving the public. You can mail in your money. There's a drop box at the Michigan Avenue Courthouse where you walk in on the Church Street. You know, you walk in kind of on Church Street.
Yes.
There's a drop box. You can put your money in there. You can call me and I will take your credit card over the phone. So if you pay online, there's a 3% upcharge. Mm-hmm. Some folks don't want to do that. So if you pay me, I will also take your credit card over the phone. Okay. So we're trying to be as accessible as possible during just this horrid time.
And I just wanted to clarify that as well, because you talked about the days that you're open. That's just temporary for now during this whole pandemic, but yeah, typically you're open Monday through Friday.
Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. I will see anyone. And if anyone wants to Zoom, I'll have a Zoom meeting with them. If they don't have the computer technology, certainly I will work over their issue on the phone as well. And I have a computer at home, and so I'm answering people's emails all day and all night, and that's absolutely fine.
Well, I have to be definitely transparent, because even not just during this pandemic, but even before, I call you, I text you, I email you, and I say, hey, I got a homeowner that they're having some trouble, and you're right on it. So I want to thank you, especially for responding to everyone, but even giving care for the folks that are kind of like in crisis mode. Not knowing where they're going to be at tomorrow, if they're going to have a home next week. And so I appreciate your due diligence and the compassion that you and your staff give while working to people in our community. So thank you again. So let's just, before we wrap up, tell us anything that you want us to know, something that we may not know, or opportunities that we can apply for things.
Well, if you're struggling with job loss and you don't think it's going to be anywhere in the near future, I do want to hear about it. I don't want you to get so far in the hole. We really want you to have food. So if there's a food place that you can, Loaves and Fishes, take some of the burden off what you're dealing with. And so, you know what, during times of pandemic, Stephanie, anxiety and depression, and we're seeing a rise in attempted suicides. We're seeing some really stressed situations. And so we don't want you to get so far in the hole before you ask for help. And really, people go into public service to help people. And we have heard so many stories that you don't need to be embarrassed. It's our pleasure and it's our joy to help people. And so the sooner you come forward, the sooner we can think about other ways that we need to ask our community for help too. So I would really encourage people to come forward. And we know it's tough out there, and the number of people on unemployment and what that looks like, it's going to be very dramatic change for some folks' lives.
Absolutely. So, don't wait, just give us a call. email, send a message. People can always call me and I definitely will contact you and ask you to follow up. You've always done that as well too. So very grateful for that. And I just want to make sure, because sometimes people think about the city of Kalamazoo. Your office works countywide. So in the
Countywide.
rural areas, the outer part of the county.
From Waukesha to Alamo to Richland to everywhere in the county. And so we will go anywhere, we will do anything. And you know what? Some of the places in the county are a little bit more affluent than some of the inner ring neighborhoods, but that doesn't matter. We will go anywhere and help everyone.
Do you have any hiring opportunities or even internships that people could tap into?
That's a great question. Because of what we're experiencing, I'm not sure if the county, right now we have a hiring freeze because we can't get folks drug tested and we can't get certain things done. And I'm not sure. I think the board's going to discuss what the hiring opportunities look like for the rest of the year or what the budget looks like. So I think that would be a little bit premature for me to speak.
Okay, absolutely. So, you're weathering the storm. We all are dealing with this pandemic. What's the morale of your staff? I know all county employees are off. Some may be working from home. Is everybody okay?
Everyone's okay. Everyone's here today, except for I have one who has small children and is not here. But they are very thankful for the job. They're very grateful to the county leadership that they're getting 100% pay. We handed out masks for folks to wear. People have them on in the office today. Good. The place is clean. We have wipes. We have this place is very, very clean. And so I think our staff is really, really grateful that none of us are sick. We all have 100% pay, and that the county and the leadership has been very gracious. And so I think there's really an aura of thankfulness, of which I'm very happy to see.
Awesome. Well, I thought I was going to be able to see Megsy today, but she didn't bop in on us, but that's okay. I'll catch her on the next time. I want to personally thank you for all the work that you do in your office and the great service that you continue to extend throughout the entire community. I want you to know that we consider you essential. You're there on the front line, so I definitely want to keep you lifted up in prayer, and the folks that are there with you as well too, and your families. Make sure you tell your son, James, I said hello. It's my little buddy. And I look forward to continue work with you and projects and making sure we're keeping our family housed in decent and affordable housing, and that they're safe. And we can do a lot to help them access the resources, the tools, and the support to maintain home ownership in Kalamazoo County, because I think that's all of our goal.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, again, I thank you for your leadership and your partnership with our office. It's invaluable. Some people know me, some people know you, but by the time we're working together, maybe they'll know both of us. And so, that's great.
I know, right?
Right.
Well, I know you got a big well, not really. You're going to do all right in this election. So I know you got a campaign that you got to run, you got to work, and you got to do the other things. So go with Godspeed, my sister. I know all will be well.
Thank you so much. And thanks for hosting me today. Appreciate it very, very much.
Absolutely. All right, you all, you've heard it first from our county treasurer, Mary Balkema. She is there doing the service. She's making sure that she's holding the purse and she's paying the bills. And also she's making sure that people are maintaining home ownership throughout Kalamazoo County. So we want to thank her for her service, for being here at the table. We know that Shirley Chisholm said that if they don't give you a seat at the table, bring a folding chair. I got tired of bringing a chair, so I made my own table. So thank you for being here with me. We appreciate you, and we'll see you again on the next episode of Table Talk with Commissioner Moore on MOOReTv. See you later.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.